So I'm just going to give you an overview of the tabs, what you should be getting from the different areas of the Canvas page that I've created, as well as showing you how you can get a layout like this and import it into your own courses to have a play around with. I'll also go over how I structure my own courses and show you the sort of result that you could be going for. These are just things that I've picked up through playing around with it. Take everything I say with a pinch of salt. But these are just some general tips that I've found to make my life easier, and I think they make my courses a little bit better. So obviously we've got the introduction page. That's where this video will go. So that's where you should be right now, hopefully. And then going forward from there, we've got the design basics page. So this is just some information on design for those who want to learn a little bit more about it. I've provided the colour palettes from the Stoke-On-Trent College branding, and then showing you how that you can generate your own palettes if you wanted to have some themes throughout your courses. The next is some HTML resources. So when you're editing a page, so if I go into this and edit, you can see that it says HTML editor, and this is everything behind every page is HTML, or we can do the rich content editor. If you wanted to learn some more about HTML and some basic things, now this is not that scary. I was doing this when I was 14 years old, when MySpace just started becoming a big thing. Everybody was making their own templates and it was all HTML then. And this is the website that I used to use to just change the colours of your text, change fonts, those sorts of things. I have provided some copy and pastes so you can have a play around. Just create an empty page. Just go into your pages section, view all pages, create a new page, and just start pasting things in from here into your section. Let's see if the copy will work. And then when you save it, you should be able to see. I've pasted that into the rich content editor. So there you go. That's what you'll get. If you put it into the HTML editor, then you'll get a pop-up button. And that's what this code does. And then I've just given the code for all of these. So you can edit, click the edit on this page, go into the HTML. Don't worry about breaking it as well, because we have the very useful view page history. So we can see who's made changes, and you can always go back to latest revisions. So don't worry about, if you want to have a look at how this was made, I would advise digging about. So we've got the HTML resources. There's something called H5P, so HTML5. I don't know whether we have to buy more licenses for some of this stuff. I need to talk to some of the ed techs. But there's JavaScript and CSS, so different kinds of web languages. But it means that we can copy and paste HTML5 code and put it into our Canvas pages, so we can get things like, so students can drag answers into a page and check the answers, and then they can see the solution, those sorts of things. So and it's got loads and loads of resources. So that's something that might be built on this page, and how to get that all working once I've looked more into it. Embedding content. So this, I've got an example of so if you've got a YouTube video or a Padlet, I'm sure there's other resources, teaching resources that you guys use that might have embeds in. So if you were to go onto a website like Padlet, and go into a gallery, you could find one, and then when you click the share button, you've got this embed, and all you need to do is copy this code and put it into that. If we edit in here, that HTML section, so I'll delete this one, I'll paste this, save, and then sometimes you need to save it twice when it's HTML. There we go. And now we've got this Padlet in our Canvas page. So that could be quite useful. And this has loads of different things. So you can like all of these flashcards, image sliders, word searches, 360 videos. Yeah, it's really quite powerful. So that's something that I want us to look into, and embedding is as simple as just copying that code. And you can also do it another way if you're scared of going into the HTML editor. So if I were to take this code, save it, so now there's nothing in this page, you can go into the insert media, embed, and then paste in here, and it will work like that. As well, you can, so if we delete that, if we were to go on to a YouTube video as well, you can click on the share. So if we were to grab, I don't know, a video for this, and then you'll get the embed code. And what's useful here is you can see how big it's going to be as well, 560 by 315. If you know you want an exact size, you can change that. So you could paste it into here and then change it to be, oh, there you go. It even lets you change it there. So let's say I just want it to be 300 pixels, and then just tab to OK that. And there we go. So now it's in there. So again, really, really useful. It's got a bit of that Padlet thing there because I didn't delete it properly, but yeah, there we go. It's still referenced here. So just learning how to read this. I know it looks really intimidating, but it's not. Everything starts with like a word like iframe, and it'll end with a / iframe or a div class and then a / div, and that's just ending the sort of the container. And you can, what I would do is experiment if you want to learn those sorts of things, and just put different texts in, have a look at how it changes in the HTML editor, and it really isn't that hard to learn. Fonts and typography section. So generally Canvas has a nice clean font, and I would just use variations of bold and large, changing the size of it, and that's about it. But if you do want to play around with the font, I've given you the code for here, and you can copy and paste from these. I've put Comic Sans here, but as an example, but please don't use that on any of your Canvas pages as well, or any of these fonts here as well. So it is a bit of a a trial and error process, editing your page and making them look much nicer. But once you've done it, you've got it for the year and the next year, and you can just keep building on it. So it really is worth it. I've got two sites here for how to download your own fonts. So you might need to, if you're doing this on a college system, you might need IT to give you admin privileges to install it. You might so what I would do is just download all of the fonts that you might want for a particular thing, or do it on your home PCs. But it's very easy. You just download it, and it will be a little zip file. You'll go into here and just double click this and install. That's it. So it's a really simple process. On the Macs inside of the college, I believe it's no admin privileges are needed to install a font. So that's another option that you've got. I've got a video recorded for this as well, so how you can make your own sort of themes unique to your course. So if I were to go through onto my level 3 extended course, so On here, I've created my own graphic. Let's just make that. So it changes depending on the width of the screen as well. So you don't need to worry too much about that as long as you paid attention to the sizes. So each of these are about 250 pixels by 250 because I think it's 1,100 across. And then what I've done is when you hover over this, you can see it says learning modules. So if you click this, and it takes you through to the different projects, and then again I've just created some different banners for the different projects just to make it a bit more visually appealing. And once you go in there, that banner sticks with the course, so it's quite visually immediately apparent where you are. And then I've used this tab system, but I've used here for the weeks, so you can go and not have a very, very long list. If I were to go onto my first year course, because I haven't got around to changing that, so you can see what I used to have is a very, very long list of each week, and it's just a dumping ground and not very nice for a student to use. So I've just tried to improve on that system, really. And then finally, the branding guidelines. Now, this is if you want to start putting the the Stoke-On-Trent logo on things. There's a PDF that I acquired from one of our marketing team a while back, and it is the identity guidelines. So you can see how to use the logo and which logo. We should always be using this logo. We should never use this logo. This is for corporate communications. We should always be using this one. It's a little bit confusing. I've sort of written this down on here. I don't quite know why we've got it on our site. We should be using this for the public facing, and also you can see in the identity guidelines it's the wrong shade of blue, but you can really start getting quite pedantic with all of this stuff. But yeah, I would just stick with this logo. This is the logo to use, not this one. So I want to show you how you can get this sort of template. So what I've done inside of my one of my courses, so if I go to pages, I have created this basic layout, and all it is 12 weeks with headers, and if you go into edit, it looks like this for the 12 weeks, and then for each tab, so week 1 corresponds to introduction, core principles, and you just count through. So if I were to put some text there, and now it's only on this page, and so on and so forth. So if you want to get access to this, there's something called Creative Commons on this, where you can import things into your own courses. So let's say I don't have that template on my level 1 course. So if I want to import from Commons, so on the top right here, and now what you can do is now it's here. I don't know whether that's, it's because it's sorted by latest, because I've uploaded this just yesterday. But if you were to search for Alex Hamilton, and what I've done is, if you click this, it is that page, okay? And if you import it, and then what you can do is select the course that you want to import it into. So if I wanted to import it into my level 3 diploma, import into course. And now if I go over to there on here, so go over to my level 3 diploma and go to my pages, view all pages, I should have a basic layout. Now, don't keep importing it over if you want multiple of these. What you should now do is duplicate it. So if you want another one, that would be the best practice, because what you'd be at risk of doing if you imported it again and it had the same name is you'd overwrite your course. So, but that's how to get that into your own ones and start playing around with it. If you feel like this is too intimidating to work with, then I would also just look into using the module section a bit more in depth. So I only have my submission area for the assignments, so that's the assignments that you make for when you want to do hand-ins on here. But so if I were to go onto another Canvas course, they use the module section like this. So they have one per week, so your pages aren't as cluttered, and then you'll have so you'll have a project or a group of units or one unit, and you'd name that, and then you add one in a week, and then if you go into there, you can just put in that week's worth of content into there. That would be another way of doing it, rather than using that tabbed system if you don't feel like that's something that you want to use. It just stops it from becoming just a long list. You can also see on all of these, I've got like a little footer. So to do that, all I've done is went down right to the bottom and pasted it outside of everything else. So just pressed enter and put embedded an image in here. It was as simple as that. So that, and now because it's outside of the tabbed system, the HTML code, you can see it's actually what I've created in these tabs is a page in a page, so that footer just sits where it needs to go each time, depending on the length of the page. So that sort of covers what this is for. Thanks for watching.